yourself and it's one of your customers out there, it's really a bad feature server or something like that. You know, the upgraded call manager, and you're pulling in a trunk, or it's, you know, some peering partner and some gateways, you know, rebooting constantly. You have to be able to tell what it is, right? You're not going to, you know, just protect against it. What you need to do is go out and actively, you know, help yourself isolate and fix it. You know, so that's what, you know, we see when, you know, we get called. Mostly it's not, you know, the malicious guy sitting in his cellar with some, you know, rogue DDoS attack. You know, maybe we'll get there as an industry someday, but, you know, right now it's, you know, developers at Cisco that are the biggest, you know, culprits, as opposed to, you know, anything else. Voice additional feature, sure. I mean, you know, voice, you know, so the voice over IP channel, and, you know, you heard a lot of that this morning with, you know, all the net neutrality stuff, and all. It's not just voice anymore. You know, voice is becoming an application running under IP, and SIP is just another way to get the application working. And what we see all of our partners doing is deploying different applications now. You know, some of it's, you know, video, natural extension to video phone. Some of it's IM. Everybody knows about IM, but more and more we're seeing large businesses wanting to use the, you know, SIP-enabled pipe to deploy CEBP apps, you know, to get presence back from the network, you know, do click-to-call, you know, really, you know, advanced, you know, features on there. So it's not, you know, you're not selling, you know, voice. I know this is the voice peering forum here. What you're selling is, you know, IP connectivity. You know, so you go, is it pipes or is it an application? Well, it's an application running under IP, and a lot of guys are just selling pipes. And what you need to be able to do if you want to play in this space later on is be able to handle all the applications moving forward. It's not going to be enough for anybody to survive, I think, in this industry as a pipe provider that's providing voice circuits, right? I mean, that voice application is migrating throughout the network, you know, into, you know, call manager, into, you know, other switches. It's going to be end-to-end, you know, so you have to take on the other applications and move up that application stack and be able to handle everything. You know, then you get into virus scanning and other things that are really, you know, layer 7 signature analysis you have to be able to do for security. Hosted, customer managed, I just recommend they buy the box, however they get it. So really I mean, you can go either way. It's all a network deployment thing, you know. So I think somebody this morning in the session border controller thing, I think it was the Acme guy, we shouldn't give him credit for anything, but we will. He drew a nice picture of, you know, all the little peering edges, you know, running around his network. And that's really what it is. You need to be able to pop security in where it belongs, is at the edges of trusted and untrusted network. So what you're seeing now is, you know, when voice first started a few years ago, you had islands of voice, you know, all over your network. So what you see now is people are connecting the islands, and on those connections, there's different security constraints and concerns there. So as people migrate this application into be a ubiquitous network application, you need to be able to handle security at those points and satisfy both the left and the right side of the security equation in there. You know, so that's what you see going on. So whether it's hosted or not hosted, even if you're going to host a service for one of your customers and you're a service provider that's doing that for hosted voice or mail or something like that, you need to be able to handle the security concerns of those two domains and know what's crossing those boundaries and take those on for the people. You know, best IP practices. You know, how do you recommend the security? Again, it's IP. I mean, you have to take everything that you've learned about in the internet for years and years, and you have to do multi-layered security. I mean, some of it starts in the network with session border controllers, firewalls, everything else, and some of it goes down to application layer security, you know, at the app. You know, somebody was telling me we were at NextCom last week. You know, they think we're really at 3% of, you know, deployment in the industry today, that this industry is just beginning to take off, you know, so it's a very, you know, in its infancy, and, you know, so what we see is that it's really IP, so follow the IP models for now, and I think you'll be pretty safe. Security feature, you know, so we have, you know, everybody has the same security features here, so if you look at NAT traversal and things like that out there, DDoS protection, it's less, you know, the feature list and how you implement the features and what you build out underneath it, you know. So everybody's going to tell you they're doing NAT, DOS, access list, white list, black list. If you look at just the feature list from every customer, they're going to look pretty much the same. So what you want to look for is you want to look for an appliance and a deployment model that matches the network you're building out. I think that's where the real differentiation is if you look around, look at vendors, in this space, Sonus, us, Acme, NextPoint, Sanse, we've all, we're all skinning the same cat. We're just starting at different spots, on the cat to get to the same space. And, you have to pick the vendor that philosophically matches what you're trying to do in your network and deploys it. You have the software versus hardware, distributed versus non-distributed, how you're going to build it off. And I think that's really the differentiation that, I see from vendor to vendor to vendor. It's not the feature list. You could probably just change the logo on top of everybody's feature list and they'd all look the same. I'm done. Your turn.
Man, you rattled it off, Bob. I don't need the slides. I'll follow these guys' lead. Yeah, I agree. I agree with the guys on the panel. I don't think the security concerns are overblown. I think from a service provider perspective, we take it very seriously, and that's by doing things like putting session border controllers on the edge, multiple session border controllers, multiple technologies, multiple vendors. Certainly, we are seeing as a service provider more and more security feature requests, and people are getting very creative with implementing security features inside of SIP standards, or trying to create more and more security within the SIP signaling standards. So I think in general, as an industry, whether it's a service provider or a vendor, everybody that is serious about voice over IP is taking security concerns and very seriously and implementing some things. One of the things that we talk to our customers about is and if there's any of those net neutrality, open network guys in here, they're going to shoot me, but we talk about implementation over VPNs. Lots of people like to do, sexy to do it over the public net. Certainly, as a service provider, we'll do it. But if you are concerned about security, then one of the things you can do is implement it over a VPN, and it goes back to your statement about IP best practices.
And still we see guys implementing over a VPN, still needing security within the VPN because it's a broken device on the other end or an untrusted user on the other side.
That's right. So it's protecting you from us, it's protecting us from us, and it's protecting us from you. I mean, those are the things that we do, and that's why session border controller functionality in particular on the edge, I think, is very important. And it is. We're our own worst enemy sometimes. Everything from configuration issues to some rogue box in a lab that somehow gets out and gets connectivity into a network. So we're really very focused on protecting our customers from our customers and our customers from us. So that, I think the big thing too is testing. So what we do as a service provider, we provide the ability to come in and test our network. We call it interoperability testing. What we're opening up is for customers or potential customers to come in and test our network, not only from a feature functionality perspective, but also from a security perspective. So, again, what we all have to get smarter on are things like offering that up and offering up or developing those test plans, right? So I think it's on us as a service provider, it's on you as a customer or user of the service or network to also take a stake in that security and to test it out.